Hello and welcome to Default Assault, where we take on everything by default. This is our special Halloween episode, and we're actually having a returning special guest. TJ, how's it going?
Everything is good, man. What's happening, Bone Daddy?
Quite a bit. This is how Kyle and I normally dress on a day-to-day basis.
I like it.
Normally dressed.
I like it.
God, mother, yeah.
Let's see your costume a little bit more, Kyle. Let's see. Oh, there we go.
Yo, look at them guns.
Now, if I remember correctly,
Gun show.
Wasn't Maui your pick for Disney Adventure Thor?
That is correct, sir. And by the way, there's no hammers. There's just hooks.
Nice. Give them the hook.
So I'm really looking forward to this because halfway through the show, Kyle is going to transform into a flying creature.
That's your problem, Demos.
Well, to follow up with TJ's subtle little hint with Bone Daddy, today we will be talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas, Disney's 1993 stop-motion classic. Quite unlike any other Disney animated film that had come out up until that time, it is celebrated quite a bit. And, I mean, it came out at the perfect time during the Disney Renaissance. So you had The Little Mermaid, you had Beauty and the Beast, you had Aladdin, and suddenly mixed in there, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Guys, before we delve into the movie and answer the big question of whether or not the film is a Halloween or a Christmas movie, let me know, what did you guys think of the film, TJ?
It's a big part of my childhood, man. I mean, I love that movie. It's you said it. It's something that we hadn't seen before. The way they filmed it, the texture, and now with technology and what we have now, to see it on televisions now is ridiculous because the colors, they pop, so just visually, the music, and then the story, looking at what Jack's going through. Like, if you watch that and don't realize, like, whatever situation you're in, you can transform, bruh. Like, that movie is deep and it touches me, man. So, big fan.
Sweet. Kyle, what was you hadn't seen the movie up until now for this episode. Is that correct?
Oh, snap.
No, I had not gotten that. And I'll tell you, this should have been billed as a musical. There's a lot of great music in here.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something that might sound controversial. I don't normally go hot take in this show or in any of my sports shows, but the opening number, This Is Halloween, should replace the Monster Mash. There's no question.
From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast, the ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. They did the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did the Monster Mash.
I know the world has had enough of the damn Monster Mash, okay? It wasn't that great to start with. And the best part is Dracula even talking about his Transylvania twist, okay? The rest of it is a waste of my time. I don't care if it was a graveyard smash. I'm smashing that graveyard.
That opening number is, I mean, talk about a hook. I dare anybody to sit down, watch a movie, and watch that opening scene and not sit down for the rest of the film. I mean, it's magical.
There's a lot more going on than you could have expected, and I'm really glad. I mean, not to take anything away from you there, Tokyo J, or anything going on with you guys that have had this exposure at a younger age, so there's a nostalgia factor in there. Seeing it as on a fresh slate, there's a lot of themes going on in there, man. There's all sorts of craziness. Like, you got this isn't spoiler territory, so I'm not worried about it. But you got the whole situation with the mayor who flips his two faces, and when he's comfortable, it's one thing, and when he's uncomfortable, it goes to the tragedy face. You have the whole thing with Sally and the fact that she's the creation of another doctor who's ethics may be a bit shady, and her whole role as somebody who's gone from being someone's creation to being her own person and doing all that, and the fact that she has to kind of sew herself back together throughout is just a whole lot going on there. The little trick-or-treater kids, they're their own thing. The boogeyman, there's so much going on there thematically, and whether it's meant to be there or not, it's certainly there to be plucked loose. This movie has a lot more depth than one would expect.
That's a very, very good point. But you're right about it from a musical standpoint. Danny Elfman, this is his tour de force. This is when I think of Danny Elfman, of course, everybody tends to think of a lot of his collaborations with Tim Burton. They think of Batman, they think of Edward Scissorhands.
Batman, damn it!
Right. But this his score for this film is not only exceptionally good, from this is Hollywood to What's This to Sally Song, but it's not afraid to actually have the slower ballad like tunes.
Oh, somewhere deep inside of these bones, an emptiness began to grow.
Was there anything that you guys did not like about Nightmare Before Christmas?
Coming out in '93, I think I was 9, and I may have been a little soft when it came to clowns and stuff like that. So if I had to say I didn't like anything at the time, I didn't like that it was a scary picture. But honestly, no, I don't have any issues with it. It's something that me and my kids like to watch. So no, I have no beef with it at all.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to see it. My only exposure to Nightmare Before Christmas was the little 3-minute trailer right before my VHS of Aladdin. Not Aladdin, sorry, the Lion King, I think. But regardless,
yeah.
And I only had like a few snippets of the songs. Funny enough, I saw it much later. But I can't think of anything particular that really stands out to me. The only thing that for me kind of felt kind of weird, although it's not something I would really necessarily condemn the film for, was the villain of Oogie Boogie. Now, he looked cool, and I thought there was some really creative stuff with him. But honestly, I felt like this was a story that didn't necessarily need a villain. I think that everything going on between Jack, Sally, and his endeavors was strong enough on its own. But yeah, that's as far as my real criticisms go for that. What do you think, Kyle?
As far as my take on the theme of the movie, Oogie Boogie was necessary to give it a personification to something. We'll get to that later. But the part that was a little tough for me is if they could have found some way to make it a touch more light that there's, spoiler alert, gonna kidnap Santa Claus, that would have been can we just randomly jack an old white dude from his house? That could have been a little bit more tactful. I got over the part where PETA probably got all pissed off that they got wrong and picked off the Easter Bunny first. But, that could have been a little bit more light. But then again, the whole movie's kind of light, so I might be nitpicking there a bit. But that was my main thing.
This is just a film that features a dead ghost dog as a character.
Yeah.
PETA would have a lot of issues with this.
Hey, look, Zero was great, and him being Bizarro Rudolph was fantastic. Straight up.
Oh, agreed. So, but here's the big debate with this film. Is it a Halloween or is it a Christmas film? Now, I know the simple answer here is, well, it's both. Well, on Default Assault, we don't take the simple answer. We're going to give you a definitive one. Kyle, I'm looking forward to your take on this.
My response is very simple. Is it a Christmas or a Halloween movie? It's neither. Da da da.
So you just went Inception with your Nightmare?
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. I just did a little Blade Runner 4029 for you. No, I got that wrong on purpose.
No, Blade Runner 2049 has a crackle, so it's like yeah.
Right.
Sounds like Herbie the Love Bug dying, but go on.
Depth here pretty soon, or actually no, that was last week. So there you go. But that all being said, let me tell you why. There are these pretentious individuals who now think it's okay to call Die Hard a Christmas movie. No, 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 no. It's a movie that happens with Christmas in the background. Okay? The holiday aspect is stuff in the background. What the idea is that holidays are meant for joy of any sort. Now, it's real easy to sell joy in Christmas because it's already there, but people get joy from Halloween. And what we're trying to figure out is if you just try to cram it to make it all about an idea of festival, of fitting it in just so you have something different, almost like, you know, you're trying to force Christmas in around Halloween time like the corporate types do. It doesn't come out looking so well. Next thing you go, you got some kid on Christmas Eve opening up a gift box with a damn head in it that freaks the parents out. Okay, that is exactly what I have going on there. It's not, when it comes to the holidays, it isn't about the decor, it's about the feeling. You know, Jackson Amber, what's this? What's this? It's novel. It's new. It's actually pure. It's about the joy and surrounding and the feeling of Christmas.
What's this? What's this? There's color everywhere. What's this? There's white things in the air. What's this? I can't believe my eyes. I must be dreaming. Wake up, Jack. This isn't fair. What's this?
When all along, Jack had to remember that it wasn't about him being the Pumpkin King and the main man in Halloween Town, but the joy that holiday brought his particular people, and how everybody can get joy from everybody's holidays if they approach it the right way.
That's an interesting, almost inclusive way of viewing it.
Compromise is the answer. Hashtag. Boom.
You see, for me, it's always felt. It's always felt to me like it's a lot more of a Halloween film, and this is why. It is, yes, there is. You know, obviously there's quite a bit of Christmas in there, but it's Christmas from a Halloween perspective. And what is truly more Halloween than dressing up as somebody that you're not? You know, dressing up as something else. Even though we have Jack Skellington, who is pursuing a new sense of joy, at the end of the day, he's essentially living the embodiment of what Halloween is, and experiencing something new, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and seeing what that's like. So for me, that in conjunction with that opening number, which to me, I mean, if I can boil down the essence of Halloween in 3 minutes, the opening of this film just does it. So yeah, for me, it is much more of a Halloween film.
I'm so excited that I get to answer this question, and I have Kyle like up on the big screen, so I feel like I'm talking directly to you. Likewise. This is a Halloween picture, bro. There's certain movies that you have to watch in a certain season. Hocus Pocus is another Halloween picture. Christmas time, I'm one that feels like you have to watch Home Alone and you have to watch National Lampoon Christmas Vacation. Those are just certain things that you just have to watch. Nightmare Before, this is a Halloween picture. I mean, and if we look at the movie, obviously this is Halloween, powerful. It gets you geeked up going into the movie, and then you see they had a successful Halloween. But even in them trying to steal Christmas, I mean, that's some gangster stuff. Jack's like, look, I'm going to be the man. So, and then you got the kids. I mean, them going and actually kidnapping Santa Claus. I mean, that's tricking and treating all together. You know what I mean? It's a fun picture, and then obviously having the boogeyman in there and what the boogeyman represents, to so many people and what he was trying to bring. I mean, boogeyman representing like pure evil. Him wanting to scare wasn't about, like Jack, he's scared for the fun. He's like literally trying to torment people. That's what I saw when I saw the boogeyman. adding to the feel of just it's passion, man. It's horror. It's a Halloween picture. Holla at your boy.
You may have sold me a little bit on the Oogie Boogie just with that.
Look, that's a fine take. The themes, what you see in front of you, certainly lend it to Hollywood, to Halloween watching, and that annual piece. Just like I'm sure people have Die Hard on their list of Christmas movies.
No, Kyle. Don't use those shenanigans as reasons for you to take away from this film. Those people that think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie should slap themselves.
Oh, whoa, breathe there, big dog. I'm not look. I'm trying to tell you not that I'm not trying to take anything from the film. I'm trying to say pigeonholing it in Halloween is actually what limits it. All right? I'm trying to tell you that this is something that can be enjoyed at all times. Okay? What I'm trying to tell you is even if you watch Christmas Vacation in July, that's still funny, right?
Home Alone, you can apply this logic very strongly to Home Alone because Christmas is very much a backdrop to that story. I mean, it's about a kid who's left home alone who's defending himself from burglars. You can take that story and drop it anywhere, but Christmas gives it a sense of family, which just bolsters its theme a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I'm going with Die Hard and Christmas Vacation because they're far superior movies to Home Alone.
Oh yeah.
I agree with y'all. The movies that we're talking about are classic movies that I'm pretty sure if we did a required reading on, we co-sign a lot of these films. So they can be watched at any point in time. I just feel like there's a time of year, there's just certain things that you watch. Now in our house, me and the wife, we're watching the Saw franchise, Freddy Krueger, Jason, we're watching the whole thing. But if you're a family man, you're going to watch Hocus Pocus, and I feel like Nightmare Before Christmas should be, another one of those Halloween pictures you just watch at this time of year in particular.
Oh, no doubt. Taking nothing from that. Taking nothing from that. And the part I was going to get to before I accidentally insulted my man, holla at your boy. That what the polish off was going to be is the fact that it is that great is why it's something that's there. Okay, do you go looking for I can't even think. There's so much bad Halloween movie out there. I just pick one. Okay, the word schlock comes to mind. Like there's somebody I watch on YouTube, Movie Bob, who does 4 things a year during this month called Schlocktober because there's so much bad horror out there. Okay, and this is a family movie, and it's still a better Halloween movie than a lot of Halloween movies. Okay. Mike Myers is pissed. This is what drove him crazy. He couldn't make a movie as good as freaking Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm trying to tell you.
That's true. I can think of a lot of decent or passable family Halloween themed films, but I can't think. There are very, very few that I can really judge as excellent. As opposed to Christmas, there are many tremendous Christmas films for the family. It's a Wonderful Life, The Santa Claus, Miracle on 34th. The Bishop's Wife, if you go for an older black and white movie. For Halloween, yeah, there's quite a bit, especially with it being more of a secular holiday. You expect for it to have a little bit more, but
Casper.
Even yeah, but honestly, like the difference between Christmas and Halloween films is Halloween you can apply an entire genre of horror and just call it Halloween. Where with Christmas, it's always much, much more specific. So to actually have a true Halloween-themed movie, it's a little bit more rare in its own right. I happen to like the original Halloween. I think that's a great film, but you never watch that with a family unless you're kind of demented.
Let me add in another theme real quick too, and my dude Tokyo hit on an interesting point that. The Halloween Town crew is essentially trying to steal Halloween. I mean, that is what they're doing. Let's not dance around.
Steal Christmas.
Steal Christmas, yeah.
Christmas. And look, let's not mince words. Facts are facts, and that is what they're doing when you look at it objectively. But think about it from their perspective. All they're trying to do is take the source and apply it as their own and do it their way. they may not even see it as stealing. They're just trick-or-treating and trying to throw Christmas into it. And the problem they're stealing. See, that's the difference between my approach to what I see, where it's the either the deviousness of intent or the ignorance of just ignorance. You know.
So Halloween Town is culturally appropriating Christmas Town.
No, that's
nice.
The punchline here is like, you got to remember everything. The movie even opens, this is Halloween. It's telling you their perspective is this and only this, and is cemented. Look, y'all cats at least are aware of the Munsters and the Addams family, and they did stuff that freaked people out, and they didn't blink an eye at it. That's what you got to kind of look at this from when you're looking at it as the Pumpkin King. And singing his songs, hell, he's borderline just, some emo dude trying to find happiness again. I mean, this is not an angry or evil person. Now, Oogie Boogie, see, he is. And when I think of him,
evil.
Roll the dice, all this stuff, and he's trying to roll the dice and get everything to go his way and all this other stuff. If that isn't a metaphor for some sort of a corporate entity trying to complete the takeover of Christmas, I don't know what is. That's really what I think we're trying to go after here, is to stick to the happiness of both holidays and leave all this other crap, the combining of the presents and all this other stuff out of it. Leave each thing their own thing and let it proceed from there.
I really wish they can do that with St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day. Imagine the hangover after Valentine's. TJ, what do you think? Do you think it's a required viewing?
I think that it is. Having the last show that I was on say that something wasn't required viewing, to come back now, and if I feel like I'm doing my job, I think that it is because it's different. You have to look at it for what it is. I mean, when it came out, it was something different for the time, and it's not your Frozen. It's not your Trolls. It's something different that still has a message. It still has a message that can benefit kids, but regardless of your age, you can enjoy this picture. Like I said, I can watch this with my kids, and me and my wife will probably watch it after I get off the show tonight because it's on the TV, and we'll get into it because, like I said, the colors, the music, everything, you really are whisked away. I told y'all before on shows, I want to be entertained when I go to the movies, but on those few occasions where you're able to go on a ride, that is something serious. So, and this is one of those movies for me, and I think that people should share that ride with me.
I munched over this a lot. Having transitioned to Family Man over the past 3 years has altered my vision of it, obviously, because my response was, I went this long without seeing it. How required could it be? However, and it's not often I pull this defense, but I think it's relevant here. Look, I was talking all that smack earlier about the reason why Mike Myers is messed up in the head is because he couldn't make a movie as good as The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I'm going to use what I've referred to as the ugly friend at the club defense, because nothing else can stand up to it. Damn, that thing look attractive. So by that alone, until you find me something better, that is required reading.
I agree with what you both said. And I see both of your perspectives when it does come to whether or not it's a Halloween or Christmas movie. Personally, my feelings are that it is more of a Halloween film. I do consider this a required viewing no matter what holiday it is. It has a good story. It is visually arresting. Tim Burton, it's his little playground in its full glory. Now, although he only produced the film, he didn't actually direct the film. It is exciting. I love the little moments. I love the contrast between the two towns, from the big moments to the little moments. It's a very enjoyable film. I mean, when it comes to stop motion animation, especially in the last 30 years, this is the film that you're going to be compared to. And although some films have come close, I don't think anything as far as a feature length stop motion film has reached Nightmare Before Christmas yet. And for that, I definitely would say that it's required viewing.
Yeah.
Hey man, look, we talked about all the small details. How about all the different trees with the different doors? There's some damn detail for you. Now, granted,
Okay.
some SJW could come in and say, "Oh, those are all American-based holidays. That's so insensitive." All right, look, um, sorry, but get to the point. Okay, remember the point of the movies. You're supposed to enjoy all holidays, no matter how different they may be from each other. Okay, everybody celebrates their own way. Focus on the joy. Focus
All
on
holidays matter.
what's
Yeah.
that? Holidays. Yeah.
The whole point of going to the movies, the whole point of sitting down and seeing something, is to get away from what you're used to experience something. And this movie, I mean, it's a cartoon. Cartoon picture, stop motion. It just it's a whole different world. I mean, the whole concept of Halloween Town and Christmasburg, like for real, man. And then they kidnap Santa Claus, dude. Come on, they kidnapped. How many kids have said they were going to stay up at night because they wanted to get Santa Claus, and they actually did it?
But
I'm so giddy right
but that
now.
stop motion is incredible. Like when my first experiences with stop motion were those early Christmas, like Frosty the Snowman and stuff. But this takes it to such a different level. The attention to detail, the movement, everything feels tangible and yet fantastic at the same time.
Yeah.
It's an incredible experience. So that does it for today's episode of Default Assault. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Default Hilarity, on Facebook Hilarity by Default, and hilaritybydefault.com for weekly movie reviews, all our videos, and a lot more. Thank you, TJ, for joining us again. It's always a pleasure having you on. Where can we find you? If you haven't followed him already, where can we find you?
If you haven't yet, what are you doing with your life? Stop making bad choices. You can follow me on Twitter and Snapchat the same, and that's at Tokyo J. That's TOKEOJ. Beard of Wisdom on Facebook. We have a lot of fun.
And Kyle, yeah,
Hey.
thanks.
Yeah, right. Quick shouts, Maui style, to Tokyo J. Going little demigod on you. Hey, it's your day to say you're welcome. So with that, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You usually find me with a lot less hair at on Facebook as the student of the game, and of course on Twitter at the SOTG. And find my coverage of the University of Central Florida Knights on NGSC Sports, who are now ranked 20th in the nation.
Gang.
You know, one of 3 undefeated teams in Florida. Oh, by the way, that is not FSU or U of F, for the record. So yeah, there's that. And could they even beat the U of M? We won't even know yet. I don't know.
I think the long hair. I think the long hair is a good look for him. What do you think, TJ?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I would date that.
Hey, look, man.
This isn't that kind of show, but
I love the love, whatever, dude. But I feel like I should be karaokeing the out of some Bon Jovi right now.
Yes.
Let's see those tattoos one more time.
Let's see. Oh,
I think that's a very good look for you, Kyle, and it definitely reminds me that life is truly hilarious by default.